With us now to talk about this blistering attack is our very own Rick Santelli. Rick, hang on 1 second. Mr. Gibbs had some more to say. I want you to listen to this, and then we're going to get your comments.
This is a copy of the President's home affordability plan. It's available on the White House website, and I would encourage him, download it, hit print, and begin to read it.
All right, download it, hit print, and begin to read it. Rick, this is one of the worst attacks I've ever seen on the media from the president or the White House or the press secretary. This reminds me of Papa Bush attacking Dan Rather. It reminds me of Richard Nixon's blistering attacks on members of the press he didn't like. I don't like this one bit. First up, my friend, have you read the mortgage documents, the mortgage plan documents? They're saying you didn't.
Of course I did, Larry. I thought it was a one-page thing he held up. We all heard the president when he did this live on CNBC. Of course we saw it. And you know what? If you listen to my rant, Larry, did I talk to any points in here that were unjust? Let's just look at a few of these. You know, Mr. Gibbs, I will tell you this. The one point that Larry and I don't like right from the beginning is loan modifications through bankruptcy judges. Now, you want to really get particular? They said, I don't know what I'm talking about. I think the notion is that we aren't really paying for other people's mortgages. Where does he think these $1,000 are coming from to pay the servicers? Why should we pay those banks? They should be taking care of it themselves. You know, this money is coming from somewhere. And if they're going to lower the interest rates on some, they should lower it for everybody. Or they should give everybody a check. You know what, Larry? The 92% of the Americans that are paying their loan on time, do you think there's no pain there? These people probably are cutting back. Their 401ks are down. It's tough. Just because they're making their payment and they're current doesn't mean they're not cutting back as well. We need to be American about this. A card laid is a card played. Do we want to inundate our kids with debt? But more than that, do we want to teach our children that you can get out of a mistake and that there are do-overs? I just don't think that's American. And I read it, and guess what? I still don't like it.
Rick Santelli, there is a populist revolt against this mortgage plan precisely for the reasons that you have articulated this evening and, of course, yesterday. You see it everywhere. You see it in the media everywhere.
You know, I've ranted for years. Anybody who's seen CNBC knows I'm impassioned about anything. You'll never see anybody get more excited about CPI than Rick Santelli. Why is this rant over the last 14 years such a big deal or different than the others? Because we hit a nerve. And the reason he had the nice smile on his face and he was so kind to me is because he is protesting too much. He sees the pluralists come back. He sees the websites. He sees the hits. And maybe they didn't expect it. And I'm not saying I'm right. But at the end of the day, call me any names that you want. But the fact of the matter is, everybody is talking about it, studying it, looking at it more. And in my opinion, if I help do that even 1/10 of 1%, I'm happy, and I can take it. And if we're going to be on the Today Show together, I'll drink decaf, but I have a feeling you ought to drink caffeinated.
Well, I'll just tell you this. Of course, I agree with virtually everything you said. I've made the same points. But, Rick, I want to go into this. This is an unprecedented White House assault on a member of the media in good standing.
Free speech
you are a veteran.
As well.
You've been doing this stuff for years. And as I said earlier, I can't recall anything like this. In some respects, this is worse than the Nixon attacks on Dan Rather, or I remember the Papa Bush attacks on CBS's Dan Rather. Now, there's an issue here. There's a freedom of the press issue. There's also a respect issue. There's also a bullying issue, Rick Santelli. And I want to know, do you want to go and take Gibbs up on having a cup of coffee? Do you feel that the White House has a right to start bullying members? It can be you today, it can be me tomorrow, it could be somebody on Fox News, it could be NBC News, it could be anybody. Does this mean this is how this White House in the Obama presidency is going to react to criticism from the media? Is this a signal of things to come with the worst press relations we've seen in our lifetime?
Well, I certainly hope not. And if he's inviting me to Washington, I certainly out of respect for the presidential administration, whom I want to succeed as badly as any of the other 300 million Americans, not only will I show up, but my favorite movie is Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, and Rick is going to be on his way.
All right, terrific stuff. Rick Santelli, have a great weekend. You've earned it.
Thanks, buddy.